civilization is somewhat different to the pre-apocalyptic Earth. It's somewhat more medieval and definitely a little bit, oh my goodness me, is that the cold? Have you ever wondered what happens to a pre-FTL civilization after their planet gets locked into a bleak, possibly nuclear, winter? Today, we're going to be doing a Tomb World start. Yes, we're going to be exploring more of the tangled backstory of, let me check my notes here. Ah yes, Sol 3, the world that every single game and DLC seems to have their focus on. We're going to be looking at what exactly would happen after the proverbial apocalypse. We're going to be trying to survive as primitive pre-FTL sapiens on a desolate world. And just like any backwards monkey brain thinkers, we're going to be going as far north as possible once the deep winter sets in. Yes, going north into the colder elements is definitely the better idea. You can see why these primitive apes never managed to get off their little mud ball, can't you? It is cold, it is dark, and we have fled one of the many capital cities of this world, gone north, and now we're trying to survive. It's really a harebrained scheme, if I do say so myself. It is bitingly cold though. Yeah, we don't want to die here, and we're going to do our best to keep ourselves alive. What do we have going for us in our favor? Well, we've got the beautiful generator here, which is currently inoperative. We're going to fill it with some primitive fuel and hopefully get the fire going at that point. We can't turn the darn thing on yet. We need some coal. Amazingly for us, we've actually got some random coal piles just lying around. I mean, you know what? Going north, maybe it was a fantastic stroke of luck. So I guess the most important first step here is going to be to collect some coal. We've also got some random wooden crates over here. And then, of course, lots and lots of people. They are having a great time at the moment, stood around enjoying a freezing morning. And we've also got steel wreckage, lots of bits and pieces, right? We'll go and send everybody off, and they'll now go and hopefully, yes, they're going to push their way through the deep, cold snow. This is really genius stuff here by these people. I'm surprised they even managed to make it this far north. Primitive monkey people. Right, we've also got some laws we can look at. Yes, we've got some children. They would apparently like to work very much so. We can either put them in a shelter and prevent them from working, or we can let the smaller apes look after their older cousins by joining the workplace. And of course, we're going to get child labor well underway straight off the bat. That actually gives us even more people to send out and get on with the task of getting stuff. The folks like Theodore Cosworth here, they're now grabbing some of this coal. They've brought it back here to the Jenny, and we should be able to turn it on, right? Let's get that thing going. Woohoo! We've now got some more temperature. As this turns on, we get a bit of a safe zone here, it looks like, that is going to be hopefully warm enough for everyone to survive. We've got about 1 day's worth of coal on the books. Maybe that's going to be enough. And we also apparently need to get some food on the go. We've got lots of raw food. I don't really know where they harvested all of this raw food from on the way over here. I have to assume there was a larger expedition that came with us in the beginning, but yes, they're not with us anymore. But anyway, we're going to turn that raw food into regular food by building a cookhouse. It's going to be delicious. Apparently shifts end, so yes, this is the end of the first day. We can see the temperature is getting lower in a few days' time, but that'll be fine. We've now built a hunter's hut, nice and warm and toasty in there. We've sent out some people, I have to assume, to go hunt more food for us. Hunt is definitely a strong word to use here, but now they're complaining that they haven't got enough shelter. Well, you know what? I'm going to provide shelter for everyone, all 80 people. Yes, it's going to be easy. Not a problem. How do we do that? We're going to set up some modest little tents. We'll put them in a ring all around the, just all around here. Homelessness is going down as we built them some shoddy makeshift tents. Yes, everything is going fine in the Republic of New Greenwich here. We've also employed some children to cook some food for us. That's a great idea. Nothing could go wrong with that. But we do now apparently have one sick person. Can we do anything about that? No, we need to wait till tomorrow. Yes, Sicky McSickface over here, Robert Fowler, they might just have to die. We now have 3 sick people. That's a problem. And if you're enjoying this video, please freeze that like button. Apparently I can now sign in an emergency shift law. That will allow me to force workers in any facility to work for the next 24 hours. Due to the high level of sickness, I think that's probably a good idea. Yes, you can't be sick if you're dead, and so we can probably try working you to death. What we need to deal with the sickness is extra wood, so I'm going to force people to start working on this wood deposit. Carelessness costs lives. A child has been injured. Naughty, naughty. Don't do it again. Get back to work, you little rapscallion. Though apparently, actually, we've actually now converted all the food we had, all the raw food, into rations. Totally legitimate use of food. Don't worry about it whatsoever. We're going to try on employing people from the cookhouse now. Hopefully, we can get these kids to build us a workshop and a medical post. Oh, we can start learning a bit of technology now. I guess the first thing maybe we should draw up is a drawing board. That might help. Though I think actually getting a beacon going will apparently allow us to send scouts out to search the wilderness for goods, survivors, and possibly lots more of that delicious, juicy food lying around. That can be hunted from deep beneath the ice. And we'll get that on the way. Just to house the last 10 people, we're going to build a tent out here, not very close to the nice little Bunsen burner at the center of our village, but slightly further out. Shouldn't be a problem. I mean, it's slightly lower temperature, otherwise absolutely fine. This does mean that I fulfilled my promise of shelter to these poor people, so we'll be able to get on with that. Let's go with a 24-hour emergency shift in the workshop. Greg here is unhappy. You see, Greg only gets to work from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. We need to extend his working day up to 14 hours so that he can live a full and fulfilling life. So we're going to sign extended shifts straight into law. We could either end overwork, ending all emergency shifts, or make sure that we know sacrifices must be made for the survival of our species. I wish we could sign a new law about cemeteries or corpse disposals. For now, people are just going to have to take care of that one body by itself. And don't worry, there will be a replacement worker at the workshop in absolutely no time whatsoever, so the pace of progress will not be slowed. We can enter space. Let's gear up our hunter with better snowshoes and the like. That way they can travel faster and uncover more food from the ice in their hunt. Don't worry, our hunters know not to harm precious animals. Right, we're gonna go into space, or at least some of the way, by setting up this beacon. This magnificent balloon is going to show everyone around that we are here. A totally safe and sensible idea in this world which has definitely not got any dark forest analogs. Yes, we're gonna need to get some scouts up and running. We'll send 5 folks out here, and they're going to head off to this lost expedition, check that everything went all right with those people out there. Alrighty, we've arrived at the lost expedition, and happily we found some living survivors, but that means there's absolutely no food to be had out here for us. Well, there's 2 options with the corpses we're starting to accumulate from dead workers and citizens and the like. Either we could put them in a cemetery, that's very nice, very traditional, or we could just throw them in a pile in the snow. Now, the upsides of a snow pile are such that yes, there's no risk of disease from these bodies, and we will preserve them for any future uses we could possibly want. Well, the temperature's dropped. Everything is now apparently chilly. That's pretty bad. Yes, we've got high risks of people becoming gravely ill whilst they're gathering wood that we really, really need. I am going to have to do something about this. Maybe we can get them some better clothing? I'm not sure. On the plus side, we've got all of those new mouths to feed that have just arrived back at our fantastic colony deep in the Arctic North. Ooh, people are getting some real nasty issues now from frostbite in those cold working conditions. I mean, what did they expect when they came to this northern part of the world? I don't know. We're not going to sign anything into law right now. I think we're going to have to put another emergency shift in here at the workshop to find a way of heating this medical post, which is now so cold that we simply can't look after any of the very sick people in our burgeoning nation. We're going to attempt to radically treat the people with frostbite. That means, I assume, we're going to cut off the bits of them that they don't really need anymore. And apparently hope has gone up. Yes, hope has increased. At the news, we're going to chop pieces of limbs off. I don't understand these primitive monkey people, I must say. Jesper says, time to get out of bed and go back to the fray. We've also now invented the genius invention of indoor plumbing. We can now turn heaters on or at least burn some small amounts of fuel in some of our workplace buildings, like this sawmill or this medical outpost, totally not obscured over here by coal smoke and fumes. Well, we found a whole bunch of raw food, also food rations, totally legitimate things out here amongst the ice. We're going to bring all of that back to our glorious city as well though, and to make sure we've got somewhere to put it, we're going to throw down another resource depot. Nothing relieves tensions like a bit of fighting, so we're going to let people fight to the death for amusement and entertainment, I have to assume. Yes, I think they're going to absolutely love my newest idea. Well, the temperature seems to have gone back up again, so we're going to now turn off all of those heaters that we don't need anymore. That should save us on some of the coal, and we are finally going back to the drawing board. We've just figured out how to increase the range of our generator here in the center. The wonderful generator that provides power, heating, and light for us all now extends to this second ring where the great fighting pit is open from 7 PM. Pop on down. Currently, no one is fighting. Yep. Well, we're at the end of the world, and these people wouldn't be from the British Empire if they didn't want to set up a public house. We're going to sign that into law immediately and let them have the pub that they so desperately wish for. We are somewhat running out of coal. To try and combat that, I've told everyone gathering coal to go to an emergency shift status. They're working 24 hours a day now. Yes, no, our coal reserves are still going down. This is a problem. I can see that our consumption is lower apparently, but that doesn't seem to be what... Oh no, we are slightly going up. We're burning so much coal right now just to get through this dark night. And the temperature is going to drop in another day or two. This could be really rather bad. But almost at the nick of time here, we've been saved by a coal mine. The public house, artfully called public house, is now well on the way to providing beer, liquor, and whatever else its many, many patrons might require. So far in attendance, we have absolutely no one. Yes, I've worked out the needs of these primitive people down to a T. But don't worry, somebody left a note saying thank you for my great work somewhere about, so I'm sure I'm doing a fantastic job. Ignore the fact that discontent is slightly higher than hope at the moment. Yeah, and that's mainly due to the fact we've got so many sick people and amputees that I can't do anything about. Oh my goodness. There is a fresh injection of survivors who've just reached the city. That's actually really helpful. I've now got lots of extra people that can go and work all of these additional jobs that I otherwise would not have had. We really need to get this coal mine up and running though. Oh, and deal with the sickness. We've got so many absentees from work. Is there a way I can pass a law to prevent sick people from staying home, I wonder? People are demanding food for overtime. I don't think we can afford it. Ignore the fact we've got 2 days worth of rations. Anything could go wrong at this point. Just pay no attention. On the other hand though, let's give extra rations to the sick people. That way we might get them back in the fight faster. Out on the frosty plain, some of our scouts here have found yet more survivors and even an automaton. We're going to be sending all of this back to our capital, New Greenwich here, and hopefully that'll mean we've got plenty of people to work all of these jobs. We're constantly on the edge though. Currently we have 12 hours of coal supplies left, and that is with a coal mine going full steam, if you'll pardon the pun, and a thumper pounding coal out of the ground to be gathered by these two gathering post depots. At least everyone in our glorious nation is nice and toasty warm, for now. It's minus 30 degrees centigrade outside. I assume in Fahrenheit that's even lower? No, that probably is higher in Fahrenheit. I don't know, let me know. And now it's at nighttime that we start running into some real big issues. You see, I can't set 24-hour shifts all the time, as much as I might want to, and that means our coal reserves are running desperately low. We're going to establish another coal mine. We need to keep feeding these fires, otherwise the little people down here might not have such a good time of it anymore. And there the temperature has fallen. Everything seems okay so far. Well, we found one use for those bodies we've been storing in our snow pile, and that is using them for organ transplants. Yes, we can use these 3 bodies. They're a great resource to redistribute the wealth of their organs to people that really need them. The lumbering behemoth, the mechanical monstrosity of an automaton, has now arrived after our engineers, or our scouts I should say, set it on its glorious path back to our city. What we're going to do, I think, is we're going to use this to get this coal mine working 24/7. That's going to help us with our coal-related issues at nighttime, because now we should always have some sort of coal power on the way. And because we won't put any people in here, it doesn't matter how cold it is. If you're enjoying this video and you'd like to support this channel, you can do so by buying Frostpunk and a whole host of other games from 11-Bit Studios with the 11-Bit Studios Complete Collection bundle on Humble Bundle. Jump down to the link in the description and pick up this bundle for under €15 from the Humble Bundle store. You can also adjust your donation to decide how much you want to contribute to this channel, give to charity, give to Humble Bundle, and of course give to 11-Bit Studios, the publishers of these fantastic games. The links to that and more down in the description below. Yeah, this food thing is a bit of an issue. We need to sign a law now. I'm thinking we might need to start thinning the food down a little bit. Possibly adding some wood-based additives to the food. That could be very useful. I'm not entirely sure which is going to be the better or more economical choice here. We've just finished construction of a care house, or as I like to call it, a storage container. Here we're going to put that small minority, about 5% of the population, that currently have amputee limbs. We need to put them somewhere so they stop messing up the place. We're also starting to replace these makeshift shelters with some kind of much sturdier bunkhouses, some proper slight insulation. That's going to help against the cold, which is inevitably coming. This world is locked into a deep nuclear winter, or sorry, just a deep winter. Cough, definitely nothing nuclear about it. We are going to have to do a lot better if we want any hope of surviving this cold and not being replaced entirely with cockroaches. We're getting more and more people hungrier and hungrier. I've increased now to 4 hunters' huts, where we're doing lots of hunting. Definitely not gathering anything else out there, but don't worry, even though people are starting to starve, I've had a nice note of thanks from someone, definitely a real note. I didn't write it myself, don't worry ladies and gentlemen, but everything is going great. We're going to have to thin it down. I'm going straight for soup here, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to move over to cooking soup, which is much better. 5 food rations for every 2 raw food, as opposed to just 4. That's going to mean we can hopefully have slightly fewer hungry hippos around. We built a hot house, as it were, something pretty cool here. The intention with this hot house, you see, is that we're going to be able to grow some raw food, actual proper raw food as well, might I add. Some vegetables, some plants, something like that, and a little greenhouse. And next to it, we're going to get a hunter's hangar up and running. What that will do is allow some aerial reconnaissance so we can better see the food deposits trapped under the ice. And we've now supplemented the soup with a little bit of moonshine. Yes, every soup meal now comes with a free shot of moonshine. That's going to make everything better for everybody and definitely cause no workplace accidents whatsoever. Tales told us of another city up here to the north, Winterholm. Unfortunately, Winterholm has been completely deserted. It turns out we're very much well and truly on our own. Something seems to be happening in the city centre. A gathering of sorts, some sort of protest. Yeah, and hope has fallen right off a cliff there. That is problematic. I can see we're going to have to deal with this issue immediately. Don't worry though, we're going to give them purpose. Order and discipline will see us through. Yeah, let's start by assigning a neighborhood watch. We need to watch over our neighbors and make sure they don't fall too far behind. Why can't we build it? We've run out of wood. I see, we've got no wood. Right. I'm thinking emergency wood shift. Totally not a problem. Absolutely a non-issue, yes. Ignore how high this discontent is. No issue whatsoever. We'll be fine. Absolutely fine. Calm down, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to die. We have some food at the moment. Well, it seems that in 15 days' time, a group of people want to attempt to leave the city for London. We can build up a couple of watchtowers. They'll make sure everything keeps running smoothly. Yeah, it's just gotten colder again. That could be another issue. We'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's only minus 40 degrees outside. Yes, that's absolutely good. I mean, luckily I have now changed over most of these tents and have been replaced with actual functioning bunkhouses, though we do still have some hungry people out there amongst the population. This watchtower will help to watch over the people and to make sure that everything is tip-top and in good condition. So it's there to help you see, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we've now got 2 days worth of coal and 2 days worth of stored food rations, so that's great. What we're running out of actually is wood and steel to build more structures for our people. Well, our attempts at convincing the people don't seem to have gone down so well. Now 26 of our 217 living souls have joined the Londoners. Well, with the talk of all this Londoner nonsense, I guess we're going to have to build some stations, some guard stations, to make sure the population stays where they're meant to. From these high vantage points over the lowly citizens below, we can make sure everyone is getting on with the jobs they have been assigned. We've just produced our very first in-house automaton. Hopefully that can help to deal with the uncooperative workers that we have all over the place. Now we've got all these people lying around with basically nothing to do, and they're missing a few limbs. I've just signed into law an act that's going to allow us to build quite a few prostheses for these 12 folks who are otherwise doing absolutely nothing. Here is poor Hattie Palmer, the very first in a long line of people who are going to be getting their hands on a brand new limb today. Some members of our City Watch have been gruesomely beaten by thugs and vagabonds. We're going to send out the guards now to secure the streets. More people have arrived, but the Londoners, who are pegged to leave in just 9 days, are growing in strength. They now represent over 1/6 of our entire population. We're going to have to do something about these damn malcontents, I tell you. And what are they complaining about? We have 4 days worth of food and 2 days worth of heating. We've got plenty to live for up here in our northern crater. All right, everything just got a little bit colder. We're going to increase the heat everywhere. Oh my goodness, it's -60. Yes, we're going to increase the heat. That should be good enough to prevent everyone from living in chilly conditions and go back to something a little better. We will also make sure that our sick can have heaters turned on so they can deal with the cold, hopefully. Here we go. There we go. Everything is slightly passable now. I think we will have to turn on heaters pretty much everywhere, though, just so that we don't let a lot of people fall sick. The one thing we definitely need in order to crush these London spirits is some very, very articulate forms of persuasion. For that reason, I'm commissioning a brand new propaganda center. We're going to issue our first propaganda bulletin across the city in the hopes that we can maintain order. May the traitors cower in terror at the power of our flags, our notices, and our bulletin boards. We've just caught someone attempting to steal food from the communal stores. We are not going to throw him out of our community. We're not going to murder him. That would be wrong. Instead, we're going to lock him up for all of his life, and to do that, we're going to need to build a prison. And to do that will require some constitutional changes. But don't worry, I'm sure we can figure it out. Well, the temperature has gone up again, thankfully. That should mean that we can turn off all of these heaters we've currently got running, because all of our buildings should now be pretty much toasty warm. Yes, excellent. That should reduce our coal usage so we can finally start saving some up for the harsh temperature change that seems to be on the horizon. We have now smashed the number of Londoners down to only 26. There's 4 days left until their deadline. Hopefully this won't fracture our society. But the cold, as ever, is coming. In another day, the temperature is likely to drop a whopping 3 levels. At present, everyone's nice and toasty warm, living in comfortable isolation. But if it drops 3 more levels, that warmth is going to go down to chilly or possibly even cold. If being in prison wasn't enough for these people, we're going to make sure that they understand the error of their ways with a little forceful persuasion. Alright, it's now got quite a bit colder. Everybody pretty much is at risk of being massively hurt by this. What we're going to do is we're going to turn on overdrive, which will slowly damage our generator here over time. But you see, as long as we don't hit 100%, it's going to be absolutely fine. And that way, everyone's living in nice, toasty, comfortable warmth again. Not a problem to be found anywhere. Or we're very close now. We're at 80% capacity. If we get to 100%, the generator, the heart of our entire nation, will go the way of the dodo. In the meantime, I've upgraded a lot of our houses here to be beautiful, proper houses rather than just bunkhouses. That means that people finally get to live in the splendor they were oh so used to back in good old London town. That reduction in cold, the increase in temperature, means I can probably turn the overdrive off now, and we're only at a comfortable minus 50 degrees centigrade. Right, we've had simply enough of this. Anyone who voices any doubts must now be treated as a traitor. Obedience is the highest virtue. Yada yada yada, fly the flags, okie dokie. I think this should probably crush the Londoners once and for all. It seems like hope has gone away and now obedience has replaced it. We've even decked out the generator in some lovely new flags. In the somewhat dubbed Night of the Shallow Knives, 7 of our people died. It's very sad, it's very upsetting, but that does increase the number of people in the snow pit, which is a good thing, don't forget, because we can use those bodies to harvest them for raw resources. And we've currently got 3 days of coal, 14 days of wood, 4 days of food. Everything's going absolutely great. The only thing that could stop us now, I suppose, is the cold. Right, we've also set up an execution platform next to the generator. And apparently by clicking this, discontent will fall. There might be a slight issue with the livelihood of one of our people. We're just gonna test it out, I suppose. Something's going to happen tonight. Okay, interesting. Oh my goodness me. So, yes, civilization is somewhat different to the pre-apocalyptic Earth, I suppose. It's somewhat more medieval and definitely a little bit, oh my goodness me, is that the cold? Well, that was an interesting button to have pressed. I'm totally not feeling a little bit, you know, there's one thing when you click, through a menu to do something. There's another thing when you actually have to watch that thing happen, you know. Purge policies, it's just an item on a screen usually. But this was quite a little bit different. Right. There's apparently a band of refugees incoming towards our city. We're going to send a scouting party out to meet them before they arrive, and hopefully our economy can support this influx of new people.
Our leader calls us to work. Slackers will be severely punished.
I guess that's one reason not to slack. 7 people died on day 29 in apparent workplace accidents. I'm not entirely convinced that's quite an accurate report, but that's what we're going to go with. Yes, 7 workplace accidents. Don't worry though, ladies and gentlemen, whilst hope may be gone, obedience is now paramount. Running from the storm, a huge crowd of people has reached our city. Many of them are sick. They say that some kind of enormous weather anomaly is coming our way and that they will die without our help. I think we're going to try and bring everyone in, not just the healthy, but also the sick as well. It's now minus 60 degrees. That's pretty cold. Yeah. Another 70, of which 25 are ill, 25 gravely ill, have arrived. Let's see if we can handle these folks as well. I'm gonna have to build more houses. Yeah. And I think setting up a triage system would probably be very worthwhile at this point. Now, what's going to happen is, yes, some people are going to be upset with that because we're simply going to not treat certain people, but overall it'll be fine. At the propaganda center, we've now organized a jolly good old-fashioned book burning. You see, we need to forget the past. That way discontent can be allowed to fall. Forgetfulness and patrols will eliminate discontentedness across the nation. We do not want to have to fall back on a public execution. Again, that was a bit too gruesome even for me. And on the horizon is that. What is that? That's the Great Frost. That could be a problem. I think we're going to have to do some triage because we've just got too many patients. We can't build any more infirmaries. We've actually got infirmary corner over here with 4 of the darn things. Let's triage our way through. Oh, that did it for all of them. Okay. Well. Good. We didn't want to have too many patients, and now we don't. Oh my goodness me, we really don't. We've got basically none. Let's do a round. We'll round up the discontents, and we don't need to stoop so low as to go for the public thing right now. We've just had to dispose of quite a few. Oh my goodness me, here is the snow pit is starting to fill up. We surrounded the snow pit though with lovely things like resource depots full of wood and coal and food. Yes, the food depot right here next to the other food. I mean the snow pit where we store the unfortunate deceased. Yes. What a lovely world we live in. That storm on the horizon does look like it's getting closer, doesn't it? I need more science, so we're going to have to go for a 24-hour shift, and to offset that, yes, we're going to schedule a little public execution. Just one, though. We don't want to do too many. Someone in our society has been hoarding illicit materials. He claims they're old letters, photos, and kids' books, possibly even a school book or two, but to hold on to the past is to be in the wrong, or something like that. So we're going to punish him. Yeah, burn and punish him. George Potter was the second victim of execution here. His crime was undermining order. I'm not quite sure what that entails, but I'm sure it was a very heinous crime nonetheless. We're now going to switch over to a method of organic fertilization so we can increase the food output from our hothouses. We do have 45 bodies there, so we're going to utilize the dead. And that now means it's a resource. Oh my goodness me, it's now a resource on our screens. Okay, that's fine. This is fine. It's all fine. Yes, we've now started keeping a tally of how many bodies we have, as we now need to utilize them in order to survive. But on the positive note, our city is beautifully large now. We've got kind of the northern borough over there, the hospital quarter here, the southern borough, which was a resource borough and still has some sawmills, but now generally is lots of people living there. And then the western quarter, where we store all of the food, coal, fertilizer, you know, that sort of thing. We're now at minus 70 degrees, which is frightfully cold, if I do say so myself. We're going to turn on all of the building heaters. That should help everyone stay nice and warm and prevent any sort of kind of cold, infectious stuff happening. One thing we definitely don't need to heat, though, is the prison. No siree. Ooh, that does now mean that we are consuming more coal than we produce. Gonna have to do something about that then. Something rather terrible has now happened. With that encroaching storm on the horizon, we've now uncovered a case of raw food being stolen in the cookhouses by the cooks. People are furious. One of the thieves was caught. They wanted to secure their families, some food supply before the storm shuts down food supply permanently. I don't really know what they mean by that. Food supply won't be shut down. What we're going to do is we are going to post guards to supervise the cooks. You see, I don't quite want to kill the cooks, as the cookhouse is run by our children. So I think a public execution might not be the best thing for morale at this time. Right, apparently a storm is going to be incoming where hunting will then be impossible. The plants in the hothouses will freeze. Everyone left outside the city will perish, and so will we if we can't heat our homes properly. We must prepare. We're going to have plenty of food. I don't know how... There's the storm up there. Oh my goodness me. So it's an icy bar. We're going to have plenty of food to survive it, but I'm not entirely sure if we'll have the coal. Let's make sure that we can get some more coal output with some charcoal kilns. Right, a mob has come to storm the stockpiles. We can either disperse the crowd, the city will come first, or we can just give away some wood. I think in this case, we're going to give away some wood. We have plenty of wood. I think it'll be fine. Probably. Right, we've got all of the scouts. All teams are now back in the city and safe. We just need to produce enough food now to try and get through all of this. Depot Corner is coming along quite nicely. We have quite a bit of stockpile. Let's hope that this storm, well, let's hope we can outlast it. We finished preparations. Oh, fantastic. And now we'll turn on all of the heaters across our great city, just to keep everyone nice and toasty warm. What does that put our coal consumption up to? Apparently only 57 per hour. Is that more than we're making? Yes, we've got a net coal balance. We've got a surplus. Amazing. I think we can actually survive this storm. We won't have to execute anyone. Oh, it's just going to be lovely. And in honor of such a wonderful day, we're going to sign a House of Pleasure Ordinance. If anything, I think you could say we have survived through the clever use of flags. What is going on in the market square? Are they protesting? People's houses are also still warm. That's good. That's a positive here. I think it's fair to say the storm is basically upon us now. We have literal minutes left until its arrival. And that's pushing us down to minus 90 degrees centigrade. But the city must survive. The soil is frozen. The hunting is impossible. Hopefully it will abate in a few days. Generally speaking, people are in livable conditions, though, even though we're in the worst storm in a generation. This is wild stuff. Let's have a morning gathering every day, just so everyone knows how good a job we're doing. Oh my goodness, the temperature is going to drop every day, I think. I don't know if we could survive that. All right. Yes. More resources. This is going to push people to their absolute limit in the city. Oh no. So we're doing everything we can to heat the mines, but the air we're pumping in is now so cold that the hydraulic roof supports are starting to freeze. When they do, the tunnels will collapse. Okay, what was that bang? And at this point, children, they can work all the jobs. No issues, no worries. We're sending them out to do it. I think we send volunteers to replace the struts. Yeah, we can't, I mean, we've got coal, but we cannot allow the coal mines to collapse. Oh my goodness, 30 people just died. Holy moly. The edges of the camera are now completely frozen. Look at that. That's some fantastic graphical stuff going on. But yeah, it's absolutely freezing. We're not doing so good. Right, I think actually we'll turn on overdrive. That is going to make everyone healthier and happier for a bit. We can't do that forever. We will have to turn it off again. But for now, we are just going to turn on overdrive for a little bit. That's going to warm everything up. Whilst the engine is on overdrive, yeah, we are pretty nice and warm even at minus 100. But that can't last forever. We're already at 27% decay. Oof. We need to send more people into the mines. Yeah, 5 volunteers per mines. We cannot allow the coal to run out. Oh, 14 deaths. I mean, goodness me. We're just going to keep pushing through, though. Hopefully, we're going to try and survive for as long as possible. Yeah, everyone's at moderate risk of getting ill. The infirmaries are now the warmest and safest places. Basically, we're going to run out of either coal or food first, unless this storm can abate. This storm does not end. Yeah, we're all going to die. We're all just going to die. I'm starting to think this storm is never going to end. That's where I'm at right now. We've got lots of employment across our city. Some prisoners still. And the prisoners have some of the nicest, warmest times. Minus 110 degrees. What happens if we turn overdrive off at the moment? Oh my goodness, everyone freezes. We can't turn overdrive off. Oh no. Oh no, oh no. I think we'll have to turn it off. Oh, I think we'll have to turn it off in a moment. We'll keep it on while people are at work. And then everyone could just survive the cold, dark night. And we've got enough food and enough coal for 3 or 4 days. We just need to work through this. Minus 3 more levels of coal. I don't know if that's survivable. People are just abandoning their workplaces and going home. I mean, we've got the automatons. We can kind of keep it going while this society fractures around us a little bit. There's a little sunshine icon here. Maybe that means if we get there, we live. Let's find out. I had to turn the heater off. It's going to take too long, right? Come on. We just need to get through the work shift here. Let's turn the overdrive back on for just a little bit. Just to see if we can kind of wait out this storm. At the moment, it is chilly in people's homes. They are still able to make it through, I'm hoping. And now most people have abandoned their workplaces to stay home. Only the medical facilities are now functioning. And I hope still, yes, the automatons that we have are still extracting coal, which is completely excellent. We're in overdrive, but everybody is now freezing. You know, that means we might as well just turn off overdrive, I suppose. I don't know. We'll see if we can live through this. Oh. The storm has ended. We've done it. We survived the long night. We started as a formless rabble, battered by the elements. 80 people alone in the wilderness, disorganized, weak. First, we put our children to work. Parents lost their children. And every day was a struggle as long as a life age of the Earth, so we adapted. Executions of public enemies. People spying on each other. Brainwashing propaganda. I mean, it was just a memorandum. This is propaganda. Forceful interrogations. And in the fight for survival, we crossed the line. Order became despotism. But the city survived. If you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to see another video from this channel specifically selected for you, click the video on screen now.